our Horsford Value Mart IGA Blue Tag Special.
Running February 19th to March 4th.
Hunt spaghetti sauces are just $5.99. Progressive soups, $13.99. Essential everyday chunk and shredded cheeses, $7.99. La yogurt, $3.39. Blue Bunny ice cream, just $25.99. IGA or essential everyday waffles, $11.99.
Hello, our value deals. IGA and essential everyday honey beer, $19.99. Chef Boyardee canned pasta and microwave pasta, $6.99. IGA and essential everyday canned tuna, $3.49. Langus cranberry and pomegranate juices, $11.99. Soft soap liquid hand soap, $8.99. Irish Spring bar soap, $11.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
This is not a drill. Liat Air's 30-day advance sale is live right now. We're talking prices so low, you'll think we made a mistake. Spoiler alert, we did it. Say hello Barbados, hello St. Lucia, hello Antigua. Book 30 days ahead for ridiculously low fares across our Caribbean network. But hurry, seats are filling up like last roti at lunch fast. Visit www.flyliatair.com or call 1268-713-5428 today. Liat Air, pride of the Caribbean.
And a pleasant good day to you and yours. The time approximately 13 minutes moving away from the 12 o'clock hour, and welcome to another presentation of Island Tea. As I said before, and I'll reiterate, Hortensia won't be in today as she was not in also yesterday, but she will be back with us, the Almighty Creator sparing our lives, tomorrow. Let me give you the numbers that you can call if you wish to interact with us here on Island Tea. The numbers are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. In the UK, 033 344-0065. In the US of A, 718-285-6984. In Canada, 305-921-4619. Be reminded that when you try to interact by calling one of those numbers, you may not get through on one or another, but keep trying, and it is likely you will get through on someone of those numbers that I just gave to you. Okay? So, as the old saying goes, miss one, try the other. Again, the time, 13 minutes moving away from the 8 o'clock hour. Again, the number one thing foremost on our minds is and should be our Caribbean leaders' heads of conference. As I was coming down today, I saw that the warship is still in our harbors, so I assume things are still going on here as it relates to that get together. We've not really heard what we have been looking for or envisioning, which is something that suggests there is a unification of the Caribbean bodies. What we have heard is a lot of negativity. In particular, one particular lady who seems to be spilling a whole lot of negativity. Let's hope that somewhere along the way we will hear some positivity as opposed to negativity. She has been crying about things that went on in the past, not too long ago, but let's say you're here for a get-together and we know the importance of this get-together. Why not just let bygones be bygone and start a new slate, start all over again, as opposed to digging up old wounds and not creating an atmosphere that is rife for unity. That is just my way of thinking. Hello, caller.
Good morning, friend.
Good day to you.
Yes, and greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name, the only Savior of sinners from the sins and from hell, by the gospel only, through faith only, according to the Bible only. Now, and Jesus, the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, yesterday, when we were speaking, okay, concerning the biblical stuff, what I would just like to reiterate is this. Since the Council of Nicaea, since Christians in the Christian church were preaching and teaching long before the people who attended the Council of Nicaea were ever conceived in their mother's womb, that would mean, therefore, the Council of Nicaea did not come up with the teaching that Jesus is God, but they only reaffirmed it from the Bible. Because what happened at the Council of Nicaea, they were arguing about what the Bible taught, and most of them believed, and correctly so, and properly so, that the Bible did teach the deity of Jesus Christ. That is, that Jesus Christ was, is, and will always be for all eternity God. So, therefore, it was not something the Council of Nicaea invented, but it was rather something they affirmed, as was taught, like I said, a few hundred years even before there was such a council, and was taught in the church. Now, secondly, what I would like to say is that there was another topic, but I didn't get to touch it yesterday. But yesterday, when talk were had about the social security, the population of the country, people, we have a low birth rate, people were encouraged to get children and that sort of stuff. One of the biggest culprits, let me put it this way, one of the biggest evils and wickedness why we have a low birth rate is because of the murdering of the unborn in the womb under the name of abortion.
And I'm glad you brought up that, because that gives me an opportunity to speak to the really wicked things that have been done to us as a black people. Because here is it, I have a clip that I pulled to play, which is entitled "The Breeding Farms," where when it was profitable, the slavery trade was profitable, they actually breed women to get children. But when they decided it wasn't profitable, all of a sudden, black women were not supposed to have children because it posed a threat. And they came up with this,
Yes.
family planning thing, not so much to
particularly.
not so much to really make people think about how to raise their family properly, but to cut the birth rate of the black population. And it shows you the blatant hypocrisy. And then again, it comes back to Marco Rubio's recent speech in Germany, where he is saying that they need to go back to those colonialistic days because the transatlantic happening was very profitable for them. So go ahead.
Yeah, by the way, to go off a little on a tangent, I just recently come across something that I never heard before concerning the transatlantic slave trade. You know, there was cannibalism. Like, for example, when they run out of food, they kill a black slave and eat the black slave.
Well, I'm not aware of that, so I'm not gonna.
I just came across it not too long ago.
Well,
Yes.
I've gone through a lot of. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they hadn't killed black slaves and fed it to the blacks, because that is.
No, they're too like Epstein them. They the slave.
Well, I'm not aware of that.
Because it was when food was running scarce, and so they too ate the slave.
Well, I'm not aware of that, and I'm not gonna say I'm aware of something if I'm not.
Yeah. When you get a chance, search Google cannibalism on the slave ships during the transatlantic time, and things should come up concerning that. But back to the topic. Yes. So abortion is a big evil, and what I wanted to say that just come to memory, as at one time the Hispanics was below in percentage to the Americans in America. But now the Hispanic has even increased in percentage over the black population in America. And one of the reasons for that, I will say, and strongly believe, is because of the high rate of abortion, murdering the young in the womb. The high rate of it, keeping down our birth rate.
I would agree with you on that, because you see what they did is because they want to retard the blackness, okay? Because they don't feel comfortable. The darker you are, the more uncomfortable they are. They want to encourage dilution or the whitening. So when those Hispanics came over, because a lot of them are fairer, light-skinned, the American white population gave them the jobs, gave them certain opportunities, and kept the blacks out of it. At the same time, they were continuing this thing of making sure that the black woman would not really, even now in this modern day and age, black women, one of the big threats to black women is getting babies, because when they go into the hospitals, they're not given the same treatment that white people are giving in this modern day and age, mind you. You understand? So you're right. You're right in terms of that. But the Latin Americans now are getting a rude awakening, because they felt that they were white. And you know, when Trump was running, a lot of them sang songs and said, "We're voting for Trump," and blah blah blah. But look at what is happening to them now.
Yeah. Right. And also, what a lot of people do not realize, when family planning was founded by Margaret Sanger with condoms and all these sort of stuff, the purpose was to reduce and keep down the black
But she said it.
population.
Have you not listened to her speeches and so forth?
Yes, I've heard her said it.
She said
Of
it.
course, I've heard her said it.
We cannot we cannot allow this threat to our race. I mean, she said
I've
it.
heard her said it. Yes, but a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know the origins of the family planning organization.
Yeah.
What kind of Planned Parenthood? Yeah, Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lastly, I would like to say this as well. Now, a lot of people thinking, when you hear, for example, we don't have the good doctor, you don't have the good doctor, very knowledgeable doctor. But what a lot of people do not realize is this. When we talk about illnesses in society, yes, a lot of it is due to our diet, lack of exercise, heredity, all of those physical factors. A lot of our sicknesses, diseases, and so illnesses and so are directly connected with such. But what a lot of people do not realize as well, a lot of our sicknesses and diseases are also connected with, and deaths as well are also connected with people improperly and sinfully partaking of spiritual things, including the Lord's Supper. This is what the Bible teaches, and a lot of people do not we do not realize that a lot of the maladies and so in our society ain't just material only, physical only, but a lot of it is spiritual. Like I say, wrongly and sinfully partaking in the Lord's Supper. You put your hand on the Bible to swear in course to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, and living sinful lives and that sort of stuff. And this is another part of our knowledge that we need to learn, and we need to take the Bible more seriously because we are disobeyed, rejecting it, and ignoring it to our detriment and to our death and so on. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks for that input there. Yeah, I mean, I have so many clips, and I look for opportune times to play them. And I think this is an opportune time to play this one. So I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and when I come back, I'm going to play a clip for you, and I want all of you to listen keenly to this. This clip is not going to be giving you any conspiracy theory or, this is going to be giving you facts, the facts of history. And this is the kind of history that they don't want you to hear. This is the kind of history they don't want to teach you in school. They want to teach us the kind of passive history that would allow someone like Marco Rubio to go in front of an audience in Germany and make the statements he makes and thinks that we are a people who are descendants of those who came to the Middle Passage, are naive and unaware of the despicable things that were done to our foreparents.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. He are a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Transform your kitchen with the Whirlpool 36-inch French door refrigerator. 25 cubic feet of smart storage, filtered water, and dual ice makers. It's wide, it's tall, it's huge. Save a massive $3,660. This refrigerator was $14,190. Now only $10,530. Offer runs from February 1st to February 28, 2026. Don't miss out. Available only at the TDC Home and Building depots at Frigate Bay Road, St. Kitts and Pinnis Industrial Estate, Nevis.
Here comes the Mega Ball. You could win more with the Mega Ball. Pick 3 and pick 4 and you could get all.
Yes, playing Pick 3 and Pick 4 with the Caribbean Lottery just got more rewarding. Now you can win more with the Mega Ball. For just an extra $1, increase your winnings by $1,000 with Pick 3 and a big $10,000 with Pick 4. Don't wait, play today. Play Pick 3 and Pick 4 with the Mega Ball at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide.
You ready to win a little extra? Then get on the ball.
Must be 21 and over to play.
And welcome back to time, 28 minutes moving away from the 8 o'clock hour. Let's get right into that clip right about now.
You're lying on a dirt floor. Your belly is swollen. This is your 4th pregnancy in 6 years. You're 17 years old. None of your children are yours anymore. The first one, a boy, was sold when he was 3. You remember his face pressed against your chest the morning they took him. You remember the sound he made when they dragged him away. A sound you still hear in your sleep. The second one, a girl, went to a plantation in Mississippi. She was 18 months old. You never learned her name in the records. To them, she was just inventory, a number, a price. The third one died inside you. The overseer struck you in your 7th month because you didn't pick fast enough. They made you dig a hole in the ground and lie face down so the whip wouldn't damage your belly. It didn't matter. You lost her anyway. Now there's a 4th one coming, and you already know you won't keep this one either, because you're not a mother, not to them. You're a breeder in the language of the plantation ledgers. You're listed the same way they list cattle. Your name doesn't appear, just your age, your health, and one word that determines your entire existence: fertile. This is America, 1842, Virginia. And what's happening to you isn't a crime. It isn't abuse. It isn't even unusual. It's an industry. They called it natural increase, but there was nothing natural about it. This is the story of the breeding farms, the darkest chapter of American slavery that they never taught you in school. In 1808, the United States banned the importation of slaves from Africa. Politicians celebrated. Abolitionists cheered. The world believed America was taking its first step toward ending slavery. They were dead wrong. The ban didn't weaken slavery. It transformed it into something far more calculated, far more profitable, far more horrifying. Before 1808, if a plantation owner needed more workers, he bought them from ships arriving from Africa. After 1808, there were no more ships. The supply was cut off. But the demand was exploding. Cotton was king. The invention of the cotton gin had turned the Deep South into an agricultural gold mine. Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, they needed bodies, hundreds of thousands of bodies to work fields that stretched to the horizon. So the Upper South found a new cash crop. Not tobacco, not wheat. Virginia, Maryland, Kentucky, these states stopped growing crops and started growing slaves. Thomas Jefferson himself bragged that the birth of black children was increasing Virginia's capital stock by 4% annually. Read that again. The 3rd President of the United States, author of All Men Are Created Equal, boasting about human beings, the way a rancher brags about cattle. By 1860, the total value of enslaved people in America was $4 billion, more than all the banks in the country combined, more than all the currency in circulation, more than every railroad and factory put together. Slaves weren't just labor, they were money itself. They were collateral for loans. They were inheritance passed down through generations. Newborns were described in financial terms as interest. the return on investment from purchasing their mothers. And Virginia alone exported over 300,000 enslaved people to the Deep South between 1800 and 1860. Richmond became one of the largest slave markets in the Western Hemisphere. But here's what the textbooks don't tell you. To meet this demand, slaveholders didn't just hope their slaves would have children. They engineered it. And to understand how, you need to see it through their eyes. You're barely a woman, still a girl, really. A man is examining you. His hands are on your jaw, tilting your head back. He's checking your teeth the way you check a horse before buying it. He looks at your frame, your build. He writes something in a ledger. Then he assigns you a husband, a man twice your age that you've never spoken to. A man chosen for one reason only, his size. Tonight, you'll be locked in a cabin with him. This was the system documented across thousands of plantations. The Massey family of Virginia kept records for over a century. They called it their stock book, the same term used for livestock. In those pages, they documented over 350 enslaved children born, raised, and sold for profit. On breeding plantations, the ratio of women to men was deliberately skewed. Women were evaluated like animals at market. Age mattered. The younger and healthier, the better. Hips mattered. A woman who had already proven she could, who had bare, healthy children, was worth significantly more. Some plantations used what survivors called stock men. After being weighed and tested, they'd hire these men out and lock them in a room with some young women that the owner wanted to raise children from. The stock men were enslaved men selected specifically for their size and strength. They were treated marginally better, more food, less field work. In exchange, they were forced to breed. When the enslaver went to unlock the room the next morning, the enslaved man was glad to be released as them women nearly killed him. The women fought back. They scratched. The women hated him. They bit. They resisted with everything they had. But resistance had consequences. There was no escape from the system. Frederick Douglass wrote about a woman named Carolyn. She was purchased specifically for breeding by a poor white enslaver named Edward C. Vie. C.V.Y. hired a man named Bill Smith to father her children. Douglass wrote that C.V.Y. compelled Caroline to abandon herself to the object for which he purchased her. The object, not the man, the object. That's how they saw these women, as objects that produced other objects. And once you were selected, once you were marked as a breeder, your life became a cycle with no exit. You're 23 now, 6 births in 9 years. Your body carries the evidence, the scars on your back, the stretch marks, the exhaustion that never leaves. Your first child, the boy, would be 12 now, old enough to work the field somewhere. You don't know where, Mississippi maybe, or Louisiana. You heard they needed workers there. You don't know if he's alive. You'll never know. The girl would be 10. You try not to picture her face because you've started to forget it. And that scares you more than anything. The third one never breathed. The fourth one was sold at 18 months. You had learned by then not to name them. Naming them made it harder. The fifth one you didn't name either. Gone at 2 years old. Now you're pregnant again. The sixth. And you feel nothing. No hope, no fear, just a dull emptiness where something human used to be. This was the cycle documented, deliberate, designed to break women completely. Some women bore 10, 12, 15 children over their lifetimes and kept none of them.
You heard it for yourself. This, when we forget our history, I mean, just imagine an individual standing up in 2026 and saying, we do not need to apologize for the transatlantic happening because it brought us prosperity. And those of us who are ignorant would think, oh, well, slavery, well, it's gone. I'm not a slave. But understand that he is saying that they don't mind going back to that. It might not be the very same means of slavery, but it means that they have every intention of taking what they want, how they want, and when they want. And imagine the third president of the United States of America boasting that the breeding of black people is adding immensely to the GDP of his country. And then they have the audacity to say, well, we shouldn't pay reparations. I mean, come on. And then look at the part where a pregnant woman, 7 months into her pregnancy, and these are documented things. The person is just narrating it, but as you heard him say over and over, these are documented because they saw these individuals as livestock, as soulless, as not human. So she's 7 months in her pregnancy, and she's not picking good fast enough, and you want to beat her, but you don't want to lose the child, which is an asset to you. So you dig a hole in the ground big enough for her belly to fit into, and then you whip her soundly. But she loses the child anyway, because you don't think about the trauma that you're subjecting the woman to. And that again was a part of breaking these women, because their philosophy, they studied this thing, and their philosophy was the psychology of break the woman, beat her soundly even when she's with child, and somehow her fear transfers itself into that child who is in her womb. So when that child comes out, unknowing to the child already has a passive demeanor. And we're walking around today casually not remembering what we had to go through, what our foreparents had to go through, and our foreparents fought. You heard them say those women fought, they bought, they bit, they scratched, they kicked. And today our leaders, where's the fight? Huh? Quite comfortable and no fight whatsoever, ready to acquiesce. Hello, caller.
Okay, come on.
You need to have some patience, Go ahead.
Sorry about that, Quinn.
Because when you're speaking, I have patience with you, so you need to have patience also.
Yeah, I got you, Quinn. But Quinn, I appreciate you playing that clip. And the question has to be asked, Quinn: is our people lazy? Is our people lazy to do their own research? Because you see, Quinn, the very fact that they put it in their literature and say, we must be obedient to our masters. Slaves, be obedient to your masters as you obey Christ. So,
hold a second, Journey. Hold a second. Hello, caller.
Good morning, Brother Quint.
Okay, let me go back to Journey. Go ahead, Journey.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you see, this is a thing that keeps us bound, Quint, and we never question these things because most of the time the Christian community in Africans globally, it could be that they don't read these scriptures and they don't do their research to know what we have endured. You have Georgia, those plantations in America. As recent as in the 1800s, these were things that our people endured. But to justify for we to tolerate their injustices to us, they gave us religion and tell us in a book we must be obedient to our slave masters as we obey Christ. Then let us ask the question, as a slave and a master, does the master pray to the same God that the slave pray to? And if so, who does the God answer to? Which one of us does the God answer to? The slave or the master? I mean, here we are in 2026, and we don't question these things. In their literature, Quint, now I'll put something before you, Quint, and the listeners. Now, God, the deity that they refer to as God in the book, is so great. He was enraged in the Old Testament. Where is he today with all the wickedness? But look at this, Quint. This God, that not everything is possible with this God, called Moses up into Mount Sinai and inscribed 10 Commandments on a stone, but leave a benchmark for man to write, as if man now have copyright to the word of God, when this same God could have inscribed 10 Commandments on a stone. But we don't question it, because man has copyright to God. Man can tell us what God says and what God intends to do. But we don't see that the injustice that was committed in all the acts in the book was done by man. But yet we still believe that this rage, this jealous God in the Old Testament, and to tell us now that Jesus come not to condemn all that wickedness, but to fulfill it. I mean, guys, come on, man. We so got to wake up from the misery and understand the mystery of sacred knowledge that was within our ancestor space. Quint, I appreciate you playing this clip, and our people need to ponder on it and do their own research, because it happened everywhere in the U.S., on the continent, and even in the diaspora. I mean, our people here in the island, thank you for me, were whipped.
We were not only whipped, there were breeding farms here in the Caribbean islands also.
Yeah.
And that is one of the reasons. That is one of the reasons why, even after playing the clips, I picked out 3 points to cement, because I wanted people to see the importance of it, and I want you to understand, you Journey, to understand that sometimes we are to our own detriment, because here is it, you want to get your point across. I always allow you to get your point across, but you're a bit impatient and you're there saying, come on, Quint. Not realizing the importance of...
Let me touch on that. Let me touch on that, Quint.
Yes.
Now, I really want to engage. I have to get ready for work in a bit. So, I mean, I apologize if I offended you with that. But
you didn't really offend me. You didn't really offend me. I felt like, okay, with all that he's saying, he doesn't see the importance of me reiterating something like a president boasting that black people is adding to his GDP.
Well, if you couldn't now, yeah,
but let's not dwell on it. Let's not dwell on it, because I don't like. I make a point, we move on.
I understand the point, and yes, I take what you said, and but just I want to engage before I go to work, and I just want to get my piece out. But don't think too deep of it.
Okay.
We have a mission, and we are here to restore and redeem our people from the misery, and to be enlightened to the mystery.
Yes.
All right, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. To you, Mr. Welcome. That sounds. Imagine that, Mr. Welcome. I tell him you're welcome, and now to you, Mr. Welcome.
Don't be funny. Good morning, Brother Quint. Good morning, Journey. I could understand the actual, how shall I say, feeling towards it. But I'm telling you, Quint, if I never heard anything of great importance from you ever, it's today. I never thought in my wildest dream that kind of behavior going back in the 1800s and probably before, we were treated like this.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know.
We heard of the slave trade, and that's it. We heard of the abolition. We heard of the emancipation of slavery. But we never heard that we were used to be commodities, assets. But just like you mentioned, in the Caribbean, that practice was done, because between St. Thomas and St. Croix, there is an island called Buck Island.
Yes.
That was where men were kept as breeders.
Yes.
And when I go from St. Thomas to St. Croix, I really would have liked to go over and actually see if there are any ruins, but I'm going to and from, so that was not in the destination. But I'm telling you, you have done such a wonderful job with that literature, that documentation. These things should be taught in school.
They should be.
Teach us, they taught us what they want us to know. Even going back with the 83 books of the Bible going back, and they're only giving us what, 62 or 61 chapters, if it's so. So we don't have evidence to make our claim. But thank you, wherever you get it from.
Look, these are things that I've been studying because, like I said, one issue.
I'm not really going to even ask about CARICOM leaders because they had ample time. But what about what went through with the Secretary of State?
Well, we're none the wiser. We're here waiting. I think there have been a communique from the Prime Minister, which says really nothing to deal with what we are looking for coming out of this. And then we're hearing a lot being said by the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. But apart from that, we're not hearing anything that would move us forward as a people. But I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm going to wait, keep my fingers crossed, and I think we're all doing that, and hope for the best.
Humble and patient.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, I think there are some reparation to be paid to what our black forefathers been through, and it's like it drive a mental anger in me. But who am I going to furiate it on? Oh my God! Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that so much.
Well, if you stay in tuned, you'll learn a lot more. I can assure you of that.
There's a saying. My grandfather said, "The longer you live, the more you learn."
Yes.
And
yes.
it is really true.
Yes.
Actual. But I let other people come in and vent their opinion.
Yes.
Thanks for this time.
Okay. You take care.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hello, caller.
Yes, Quint is me again. Now, did you hear the clip that of a speech that Kamala made during the CARICOM thing?
No, but I've heard people speaking about it, but I've not heard anything myself hearing her voice.
Yes, I've seen the clip on the status of someone. It's on the status. I think it's on the status. I think it's one of the news media WhatsApp page.
Yes.
Maybe it might have been on both. I think it was on both.
Yes.
But in the clip, she was saying, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically, in essence, she was saying, y'all might have had relationship with Cuba and that sort of stuff, and whatever Cuba did and that sort of stuff. But y'all got to realize now, y'all got to give up Cuba. Y'all have to give up Cuba. We shouldn't have anything to do with dictators. So, whatever y'all had in the past with Cuba, y'all should now give it up.
Yeah, I heard. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Quinn.
I heard people saying things to that effect, that she's saying because as America is pushing, saying they need to have elections and so forth, but the same United States of America is not telling Zelensky to have elections in the Ukraine. The same United States of America is dealing for years and years, has been dealing with Saudi Arabia. Has Saudi Arabia ever had elections? Yes. They're not having elections. The same United States of America has toppled legally elected governments and replaced them with their own. So we as a Caribbean people must know our history and rebut when people come with these things.
But not only that, you mentioned Zelensky in Ukraine. Not only is he not having election, but he's actually imprisoning opposition leaders and that sort of stuff.
Yes.
And outline opposition parties and that sort of stuff in Ukraine.
And did you hear a clip? I heard a clip. Boy, this man is evil. I heard a clip where he was actually saying that Europe should go and wherever Russian people have families and so forth, round them up and using some expletives. Zelensky.
Oh, he said that? No, I ain't hear that part.
Look, I mean...
I won't be surprised. I will not be surprised.
Look, here's what you need to do. Just do some research on Zelensky's comment about family. Just type in something that says Zelensky's comment about families of Russians, and I'm sure you're going to get something on it. It's not.
I would think so.
I'm not exact as what the caption was, but I know it's to that effect. And the man is actually saying. And look, let me tell you, even when he's saying it, right, the person, the news reporter who is sitting in front of him, you could see the look on her face, like, what? She can't believe, and the man is saying it like.
Right. I ain't surprised. I ain't surprised. But while I heard those words from Kamala, okay?
Yes.
I said to myself, but isn't she aware that America is dealing with some wicked dictators as friends?
Yes.
Isn't she aware that America has toppled government?
You see,
including elected governments?
You see, this is the sad state of affairs when we are so wanting to ingratiate ourselves with someone who really doesn't have any use for us. So we look for any excuse. We look for any excuse to embrace them.
No matter how hypocritical and inconsistent that excuse is.
Yes, I agree.
And I also said to myself, when I heard that talk, I also said to myself, why? I wonder how Chesley going to defend this one now. Well, I want to hear him defend this one.
He did call me, and he did call me and have a conversation, and he did, because we are friends, and he did call me, and he said he does not agree with all that. You all sometimes misconstrue things, you know. You can have a friend, and what your friend utters, you don't agree with what your friend say in every aspect, but you're not going to... Yeah, okay,
Because there was another clip with she and me and Motley hugging up, and, well, I don't say hugging up, but, you know, in friendly, close contact with each other. And me and Motley said, why we are friends, we are friends.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But lastly, let me quickly say, a lot of people misconstrue these slave passages in the Bible. The Bible said yes, slaves, be obedient to your master. The first purpose of it was try to see if you could get them to come over to Christianity through your Christian witness. Secondly, Paul said, but if you have a chance to get out of the slavery, take advantage of that chance and get out of slavery, because his advice to Christians is that you were not called to be slaves. And not only that, the Bible also tells you, if a slave run away from his master, do not return him, and the master ain't got no right to go for that slave. These are also teachings in the Bible. Okay? So, and under those conditions, that kind of slavery that was practiced in America and other parts of the West, and even other parts of the world too. If biblical laws were followed, those kind of slavery would have vanquished overnight, because biblical law was against them, including not returning, but protecting a slave from his master if he or she run away from her slave master.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to see if I can squeeze in... I'm going to see if I can squeeze in this caller, because we have some guests here who are going to be having an interview shortly. Hello, caller.
Good morning.
Well, you're going to have to be brief, because we've only got about 2 minutes or thereabout.
No problem. I was just thought that I'd mention the fact that the headline, one of the headlines this morning, is the attack, or whatever you want to call it, in Cuban waters, where I think 4 people died and 6 were injured or something like that.
Yes.
A boat going over to Cuba. And interestingly enough, it was Rubio himself commenting on it. And I must say that we got some more publicity in the sense that at the top of the screen was our federation's name, It, at least that's the positive side of it.
Positive. I'm still here's what I want you to do. Hold that thought because, I want us to go more in depth in this. So if you can, call back after the interview.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
Yes. So I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and when I come back, we'll have two individuals who are associated with the Department of Agriculture.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Caribbean numbers come and play. Just $1 $, that is the way. You can pick one number or two or three. I win up to 20,000, you see. 3 ways to play, 3 draws a day, 3 ways to win. Hear what we say. Caribbean numbers is the easiest game to play.
The new Caribbean numbers.
So play today.
At any Caribbean lottery agent island-wide.
So play today.
And the time is approximately 1 minute moving away from the 9 o'clock hour, and we go right over into the studios where we have two lovely young ladies who are representatives of the Department of Agriculture. So I'm going to go to them and I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you and say why they are here. Hello, good day.
Hello, good morning. My name is Ashadi Duncan.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Shakima Hazel.
We are with the plant quarantine unit within the Department of Agriculture. And today we are here to inform the general public about the updated import requirements for plant products, and regulated articles in the Plant Protection Act of 2024.
So, before I begin, I just want everyone to know that the reason why we have implemented these requirements is basically to safeguard agriculture, the economy, of course, the environment, and to safeguard food security. So anyone who wishes to import a plant or regulated article, they would have to come to the Department of Agriculture, visit the quarantine unit, of course, and fill out an import application form. So this form basically begins the legal process in attaining an import permit. So the form is very easy to fill out. You would just need to give your information as well as the type of commodities you wish to import into the Federation and the origin these commodities are coming from and the quantities of what you want to import. So after this form is filled out, we would then go and review the application form and begin the necessary research for the commodity. So after doing the research, we would decide whether or not if the commodity will pose a low risk or a high risk for the Federation. If it's something that's considered to be low risk, or if it's a low risk pest or country of low risk, then we will go and issue the permit within about a day to maybe 3 days. If the commodity poses a high risk to us, then we will have to go and conduct something called a pest risk analysis, which is basically a scientific risk assessment on the exporting and the importing country. So after this risk assessment is done, if the commodity is high risk to us, then we would then we would then go and give the importer the necessary measures. So that's whether or not, if we would have to treat the commodity, if we would have to detain it, restrict it, or even prohibit the commodity from entering the country. If it is a case where the commodity is deemed safe to import, then we will go ahead and issue the import permit to the importer. So after this process is done, then once the commodity arrives here in the Federation, one of our members, one of our staff would have to go to the points of entry to do the necessary inspection. So after doing the inspection and the commodity is deemed safe, then we would then release the commodity to the importer. So we just want the public to know that these requirements have been in place, but like Ms. Duncan has said, they have been updated under the Act. So we want to just sensitize the public and let them know what we are doing at the quarantine unit at the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, and let's put the emphasis on, I think the emphasis can go on quarantine, because then if the plant is deemed unsafe, I guess that is where you will quarantine the plant.
Yes, we will confiscate it. We will then confiscate the plant if it is deemed unsafe. So people may wonder what would you call unsafe? What would make the commodity unsafe? If an importer imports a plant or a regulated article, and we notice there are some signs of pests, there's some signs of disease, then we would have to confiscate the item. Also, we wanted to make mention that any regulated article, any plant part, any plant that would be seeds, soil, aggregates, produce, as in fruits and vegetables, cut flowers, live plants, they must have an import permit in order to enter the Federation.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say a plant came in, as you said, and it was confiscated. Can a plant be confiscated because it has some threat, but then during the time of your confiscation, is it that you destroy it, or is there some plants that you can deal with the pests or whatever and then make it safe and then give it to the person, or is it that soon as it has a problem and you take it, you destroy it?
Well, like I said, we measure the risk. So if it is a case where, like you said, the plant has some form of pests, if it's not
too dangerous,
or
if it's something we have here already.
It's something we have here already, we would treat it. We give them the option to treat it.
Okay.
If it is a case where it's too far gone, it's a quarantine pest, then we will definitely confiscate it.
Okay.
Also, I want to make mention that also when importers are importing their commodities, they have to be accompanied with a phytosanitary certificate. This is our main conditions. Is the commodity must be free from soil and must be treated.
Okay. When you say free from soil, let's say a plant comes in that one would, do you get plants that one would want to grow? And if you get such plants, how would it be free from soil?
Well, we have persons who has nurseries and they would import live plants, but we always encourage them to import them in a specific type of medium, such as potting mix.
Okay.
Yes, so we absolutely do not accept soil because soil also carries pests.
Yeah, well, I wanted clarity, that's why I asked the question, yeah. Go ahead, you can bounce from one to the other and then enlighten us.
One of the regulated articles that we see being imported regularly are seeds.
Yeah.
And we just want everyone to know that, yes, some people are aware that we have a list of approved and denied seeds. And we want the general public to know that even though they have ordered seeds from the approved list, they must be accompanied by with an import permit, otherwise they will be subject to being confiscated as well.
Yeah. Well, I must say it is good to see two young people coming representing the Department of Agriculture, because they have a tendency to say young people aren't interested in agriculture, one. And seeing you here, it means that as two young people, you're aware of the importance of agriculture. Agriculture is food security. It is part of national security. So good to have you young ladies being involved in that.
Thank you.
Okay, so is there anything else that you want to enlighten us on?
We want them to know that the import permit, it does have a fee. The fee at the moment is $5 EC. However, it is subject to change. So right now, because the act is fairly new, we are conducting meetings with the necessary stakeholders first before we make the changes. So we're in the process of doing that. But at the moment, the fee is $5 EC.
$5 EC per commodity?
Per consignment.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and break down consignment. Is consignment, let's say, for instance, is a consignment 5 plants, or is it each plant will be?
It doesn't matter the quantity.
Okay,
it's just one shipment, basically.
Yes, okay. I just want the audience to be clear on what these are.
Yes.
Yes. So, go ahead.
Do they have any questions?
Well, if there's anyone out here, you would like if someone calls in?
Sure.
Okay, well, if there's anyone listening and wants to call and interact with these two young ladies, you're sometimes always complaining that you don't get to call and interact, and they're saying that they will interact with you, so please accommodate them and give them a call and ask them a question. So let me ask you this. Are you, well, for instance, I'm a farmer, a part-time farmer, and I have a ID card that has been obsolete for some time, and we have not. Are you in that department, or is that a different? Are you in just plant and plant quarantine?
We're just in quarantine.
Okay,
but regarding the card, you have to come and reapply at the Department of Agriculture, and then the specific unit will assist you in getting.
When you say reapply, that clarify. Well, you might not know the details, but reapply mean, okay, I was a farmer for X amount of years, I have to go back and start from scratch then?
No, just come and fill out the application form for the ID.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I see that you're both a bit kind of shy, not, being accustomed to being in front of a microphone and having an audience. But you'll get accustomed to it. as you go along. So thanks for braving your, and coming here and letting us be enlightened. So thank you for being here. And you're always welcome. Whenever you have other information to disseminate, just give us a contact and come in and disseminate it to us. And maybe the callers will be a little bit more brave then also and call in and interact with you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so you take care and have a great day.
Thank you.
Found the South 98.9.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Caribbean numbers come and play. Just one single dollar, that is the way. You can pick one number or two or three. I win up to 20,000, you see. 3 ways to play, 3 draws a day, 3 ways to win. Hear what we say. Caribbean numbers is the easiest game to play.
The new Caribbean numbers.
So play today.
At any Caribbean lottery agent island-wide.
So play today.
Hey kids, it's chubby time. I have to go to school and learn and play with my friends too. Every day is fun day, 'cause I love my chubby chubby. Chubby, 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 chubby. Lots of flavors for me to choose. Every day to keep me cool. It fits my handmade just for me. Everybody loves chubby. Chubby, 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 chubby. Every day is fun day. Chubby.
You could win more with the Mega Ball. Pick 3 and pick 4, you could get it all.
Yes, playing Pick 3 and Pick 4 with the Caribbean Lottery just got more rewarding. For just an extra $1, increase your winnings by $1,000 with Pick 3 and $10,000 with Pick 4 when you play the Mega Ball.
You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? Then get on the ball.
Play Pick 3 and Pick 4 with Mega Ball at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 and over to play.
And welcome back. The time 16 minutes moving away from the 9 o'clock hour, and there you had 2 young women associated with the Department of Agriculture disseminating some information and enlightening us as to if you want to order plant seeds, so on and so forth, and the process of doing so. Hello, caller.
Quickly, Quint.
Yes.
Now, back to the clip you played about, what our people went through in America. Now, is it colorful for us? Should we accept it that when we obey our masters, is it colorful that the master is white? Now, if we were to flip it around, what if the master is black? Would the white man obey us? Now, this is the world that they have created, Quint. They have created this world, and that's why Journey is saying the literature that they put there is to justify their wickedness to us. And we have to decolonize, we have to deconstruct our minds from those narratives and that wickedness that they have done to us. I mean, really now, who is the master in this our reality, Quint? Are we saying that because we are in an area of economics that this same system has not affected us? Because this is their world. They have created a world of commerce and economics that has taken us away from nature itself. I've mentioned earlier, Quinn, that everything was provided for us on planet Earth. According to the scripture, we were the last to be formed. Now we have to understand all of that they put in that book, because Quint, they have flipped the scriptures. Remember I said earlier, I said this last year, the Europeans came across sacred knowledge of spirit becoming flesh. Spirit comes flesh through birth. Spirit goes back to the spiritual realm through death. Death is a gateway. Death is not the end, because energy cannot die. But because they gave us one deity in a book they refer to as God, and we gravitate to this because this God was so great, so powerful, and here we are, Quint, when the very same book says that we are gods and goddesses. They have copied our sacred knowledge, and they have polluted it, they have corrupted it, and here we are in that misery, without understanding and overstanding the sacred knowledge of our ancestors. Spirituality, to be in alignment with earth, air, water, fire, spirit, the S-U-N, the light of the world, Son of the Most High, Quint. I heard you said a couple weeks back, when you get up at morning, you said your devotions to the source. We have to understand our concept of what God is, because the biblical deity is not the creator of the universe. What came from the universe is everlasting and eternal life and love. It does not swing. It doesn't swing right or left. What feeds the source is the elements of life: earth, air, water, fire, spirit, and the S-U-N. Nothing is hidden from these elements, Queen. Even our emotions are recorded back to the source that we call God. But the biblical character is not the creator of the universe. I would like for our biblical friend to answer this question. If the biblical God is so powerful that he could inscribe 10 commandments on a stone, why does the benchmark of liberty should be left to a particular people who claim that they were wholly inspired? Why didn't God write the whole word? If he could inscribe on a command. But you know where the 10 commandments came from, Queen? It came from the pyramid text that our ancestors carved, the hieroglyphics, which they, who gave us this word of God, couldn't interpret. So they water it down to suit their narrative. And again, I say, they have put slave obey your masters to justify their wickedness that they have done to us. And here we are under their religion, and we convert. We have converted to Christianity. But didn't we have an identity, Quint? Our ancestors were the first. We are the orality of spirit becoming flesh. Should we give up our identity to become a Christian when we were living in our space? And God, this biblical God, how many generations of our ancestors were alive and striving before the Bible? So we have to give up our identity to become Christians. I'll leave it there, Quint.
Okay. Let me take a bit of a commercial break, and I'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Come Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Rams the good food people always there to serve you. Rams the good food people locations right near you. Rams the good food people in store specials for you. Rams the good food people. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
This is not a drill. Liat Air's 30-day advance sale is live right now. We're talking prices so low, you'll think we made a mistake. Spoiler alert, we did it. Say hello Barbados, hello St. Lucia, hello Antigua. Book 30 days ahead for ridiculously low fares across our Caribbean network. But hurry, seats are filling up like last roti at lunch fast. Visit www.flyliatair.com or call 1268-713-5428 today. Liat Air, pride of the Caribbean.
Here are your Horsford Value Mart IGA Blue Tag Special.
Running February 19th to March 4th.
Hunt spaghetti sauces are just $5.99. Progressive soups, $13.99. Essential everyday chunk and shredded cheeses, $7.99. La yogurt, $3.39. Blue Bunny ice cream, just $25.99. IGA or essential everyday waffles, $11.99.
Hello, our value deals. IGN Essential Everyday Honey Beer, $19.99. Chef Boyardee canned pasta and microwave pasta, $6.99. IGN Essential Everyday canned tuna, $3.49. Langus cranberry and pomegranate juices, $11.99. Soft soap liquid hand soap, $8.99. Irish Spring bar soap, $11.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Shop smart, shop value mart.
And welcome back. The time 26 minutes moving away from the 9 o'clock hour. And I was just kind of thinking, about the call and brief interaction with Mr. McMahon. And I was asking myself a question. And I think it's a question that we need to ask ourselves. And the question is, are we supposed to sit by, alienate a neighbor, and watch them suffer and die because they believe something different to us? Is this what Kamala is implying when she says, well, we need to give up on them, we need to forget about what is that suggesting? Hello, caller.
Yes, I'm back. What you're looking at there is the reaction to what everybody is saying about the world changing. you can have different reactions to what's been happening, but this seems to be the prevailing one, that, well, too bad about who our friends were in the past. Too bad that they helped us, that they made sacrifices for us. The reality is we got to survive in this new order. And this is the path of least resistance. This is the one that you don't have to sacrifice anything for. You go with the flow, and you'll be all right, as opposed to standing up on principle or any moral high ground. I mean, look at, for instance, what is again on the news this morning, where India, which used to be such a champion of the non-aligned movement, is now cozying up to Netanyahu. I mean, talk about strange bedfellows.
You understand?
You know? But India is an emerging superpower almost.
Yes.
And certainly economically. And they seem to be pursuing the line that, hey, they're taking this friends of all and enemies of none thing to the stretch to the limit.
But to me, Mr. McMahon, that doesn't make any sense. How could you say you're friends of all, enemy of none, but you're watching those who you say you're not enemies of being destroyed?
That's what I'm saying. You can say they're separating that aspect of it from their country first nationalistic policies.
But I would have thought that when I make the statement, let me give you a hypothetical. I'm going to use Israel, India, and Palestine as three in the example. I am India, and I say to Israel, I am friends of all, enemies of none. Should I then not say to Israel, since I am enemies of none, Israel, here's my stance. I am not I'm not your enemy. I am not Palestine's enemy. And because I'm an enemy of neither of you, I am saying to you, do not treat that other person over there who is also not my enemy in the way you're treating them. Isn't that what we should be saying?
That is what they should be saying. But what I'm saying is that they are looking at trade deals and the economy for us. They're supposed to be cooperating in the field of AI and technology and so on, which India definitely wants to be in the forefront from, and Israel is indeed a big player in there. And they put that above any kind of principle about what what Israel has been doing in whether Gaza or the rest of the Middle East. Because, you know, India and Palestine, India, I think, got independence around, or full independence around the same time as they were deciding after World War One, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, two, if I'm not mistaken. The same time when the British was essentially abandoning Palestine and leave it as and creating Israel. Okay, I think it was around the same time. I might have the dates wrong, but it's around the same time that happened. And when that had happened, India had said then that they were not in favor of the creation of Israel unless the Palestinians were involved. And well, we all know what happened since then. Okay, but over time, and that is why it is so necessary to resist. Over time, the policy gradually changed to acceptance of the status quo there. And now I suspect they're saying that, well, we can't do anything about it as long as, Israel remains this powerful and has the backing.
Why is it that everybody keeps... This is the strength again of propaganda when you're ignorant. Why is it that everybody keeps saying that Israel is this big superpower and Israel is... And when we know those of us who are steeped in following history, we know that without the backing of Europe and the United States, Israel would not be in the position that it is in.
No. There's another elephant in the room that is not discussed.
So let's talk about
everybody
that.
Everybody accepts the fact that Israel is has nuclear weapons.
Well, I wasn't even. I
for
wasn't.
a long time, no.
I wasn't even going there. You know, the reason why I didn't go there. You know, the reason why I didn't go there is because, for want of look. Yes, we know that Israel has nuclear capabilities, but do we want to go there? Do we want to go there as a world? Do we want to go?
How can you avoid it though?
When I say do we want to go there, I mean, do we want to reach that point where people who have nuclear weapon are just going to use it because they have it? Because this is going to be to the detriment of humanity, you know.
We're already there, Quinn, right? People, countries that have nuclear weapons, I wouldn't say respected, but definitely you just can't ignore them.
So why is it then, and it shows the hypocrisy. This is why I said I didn't want to go there. Not that I don't want to entertain the conversation, but because the conversation would then have to be broadened to be realistic. And the other aspect of that realistic perspective is the kind that the developed world don't want to hear. So let's carry it there. Why is it that the U.S. doesn't want Iran to develop its nuclear capability?
Because if Iran might use it.
Okay, but Israel has it. Israel is showing that they don't have any regards for a particular set of people, and they are trying to just eradicate them from the face of the earth while the rest of the world stands and watch by. And I would think that one, knowing the potential of Israel, would want to have a defense against Israel. But you're saying to that individual, and that's what they're saying to us in the Caribbean directly, even though we're not thinking nowhere near going nuclear. What they're saying in essence is, we are more powerful than you, you're weak, do not even try to get stronger. Because if you try to get stronger, we're going to trample you. Isn't that what they're saying?
Of course. It's called preemptive action. Yeah. That's what it is. Okay? No, I don't see any empire going down without a fight. It ain't going to happen.
I agree.
Right. And so that kind of response or that kind of action should not surprise anyone, I don't think. Okay? What, in our instance here, in our local setting, though, right? What we're seeing, what we're actually seeing is an almost total surrender of this thing called sovereignty.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, it's as if you're saying, hey, do anything, so you might as well go along with the flow.
But let me ask you this. Did you hear that clip I played about the breeding farms?
Yes.
Okay. You understand that even during that time, even during that period when you will be beating a pregnant woman, or beating a woman 5 months into her pregnancy to the extent that she loses her child, you heard what happened when they put those men in there with those women for breeding purposes. In the morning, the man, mind you, we know the man was going to try to make sure he did what was supposed to be done because he's looking at his survival. But you also heard that the women fought. The man was glad to get out of there. So what does that tell you? Doesn't it tell you that they were still resisting?
Yes.
Okay. So how is it that our foreparents going through I mean, look at what they were going through physically, personally, and they were still fighting.
Quinn, you look at something like that, and you come to that conclusion, it shapes your worldview, and so on.
Yes.
But I tell you something, right? I remember being in Barbados when they were showing the documentary, the Roots documentary,
Yes.
the first one, okay? And there was this big debate as to whether they should be showing it, because, as one commentator said, are we really at this stage where we can see that kind of cruelty and so on and not be affected by it, and bearing in mind the tourism was really booming then.
Yes.
Much ahead of the other countries. Bearing in mind we're a tourist economy.
Hold a second. There's another caller. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning, Quinn.
Okay, do you want to let Mr. McMahon finish, or do you want to interject and...
I was trying to get... There was another call coming in, but I'm not so tech savvy. I did not know how to cross over and save this call at the same time.
Okay, so you want to...
Let me get my thought out.
Okay,
I'm
Mr.
at a
McMahon.
disadvantage because I'm not listening to radio.
Yes.
So I don't really know the content of the
Conversation.
what you're discussing at the moment, but
Yeah.
I gleaned a little bit from,
Yes.
But I want to present something because you and I have had many conversations, and I just wish to say good morning to Mr. McMahon. He's on the other end?
Yes.
Yes, good morning.
Yes. You and I have had many conversations, Quint. But about 3 weeks ago, I presented something where I said that, we know a promised paradise, heaven, is there waiting for souls. But I have realized that it seems like many, many, many souls, and I would conclude that majority of souls would see the United States as that heaven. I saw it more so over the past day or two.
Okay.
Today, that the United States heaven is the preferred paradise than any place else. Some of my Christian sisters and brothers would compromise the heaven that was promised to them for so many years, for so many generations.
Yes.
And would really settle for
This
the United States heaven.
Yeah.
Well.
Wow. Maybe one of these days you can go more in depth as to why you've come to that what has brought you to that firm conviction.
Yes. One of my sit-ins, yes, I will do that.
Yes.
But because of the essence of time, I want to get back to the call that was coming in.
Yes.
So I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay.
There's so much to discuss.
Yes.
But some other time.
Yes.
Thanks for
Okay
that.
then. Yeah. Back to you, Mr. McMahon. You were saying when people were questioning whether we want to see that roots thing, yeah.
Yes, right. They were fearful that it would have a negative impact on the ordinary Bajan who, not so interested in, because there are a large segment of our population that couldn't care less about the history. They are concerned with now.
Yes.
Okay? And so they're not really receptive to these kinds of messages, or if they hear them, they don't relate them to now, to their situation now.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a factor that has to be dealt with. Okay, I mean that probably explains why things like these are not taught in schools and so on, because of the fear factor that.
But how is it, right? How is it then that when we peruse history and we study what is taught in the schools of, for instance, in the Israeli schools, in the schools across the U.S. About their heritage. Like I said, I have this big book there behind me. I have a book home entitled, I think it's Americas, it's even thicker than the one behind me there on that shelf. And it was one of the textbooks that I used when I was a young boy in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and it tells you about It even has their constitution in it. It tells you about all of their presidents. Every one of their presidents, from the first up until the time that book was published, are in it. That book has in things like the Black Power struggle, Martin Luther King, and so on and so forth. So they tell their history. So why is it that we don't want to tell our history, or we're uncomfortable with our history?
Well, for one thing, right, their history is one of conquest, right? Our history, at least from the time their history began, is one of subjugation, right? And as a result of that, you know how you know the expression "to the victor goes the spoils" kind of thing. It's pretty much the same thing, and people refer to it all the time.
I hear
right?
you on
because
that.
they write the history. They're the ones who write the history. They write it in their light, from their perspective.
I hear you on that, Mr. McMahon, and I don't disagree. But here's what I'm saying. Why is it that I understand that they are the conquerors and they write the history, but why is it that they can write their history and their history is not a glossed over history? You know, they tell you how they had to fight and how they shed blood and who died here and the Battle of Bunker Hill and this and that and all that kind of stuff. Yes, it is true from their perspective, but in their perspective, they show you how they draw blood in defense of themselves and they wind up being the conqueror. Well, why is it that we, being, as you so rightfully said, from the time they started to write their version of history, why is it that we don't feel that our history of being oppressed but fighting through that oppression from then till where we are today is of any relevance? Because their history is relevant to them because they're still using it to remain the conquerors. And if we don't get into our history, we will then forever be the oppressed and the conquered.
I understand that, Quinn.
Yeah.
But be honest. The average man on the street really care?
And I am saying, I agree. The average man on the street don't seem to care, but I am saying they should care, and someone should put them in a position where they're looking in front of a mirror. That's why I play clips like that, what I played this morning, and you hear a big man, a big grown, and you hear a big grown man like Mr. Welcome say, "Wow, Quint, I didn't know that it was that deep," and yeah.
Quint, and Quint, you heard what Africa just said?
Yes.
About where people
want to go.
Exactly.
But that
right?
should.
And I'm telling you, Quinn, the people who can make a difference in this, which are leaders who really shape policy and so on. Okay, it's easy for them. It's easier for them to say, well, the man in the street, they're more concerned with a U.S. visa than what do you call it, solidarity with Cuba.
Yes.
And it is true. I mean,
it is true, but Mr. McMahon, here's where I tend to, where I get a bit griped, is that I hear you, and nothing that you're saying is untrue, but I am saying, should we just give up on it?
No, I'm not saying, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just showing you the reality that you have to
But I'm aware of the reality, and what I'm trying to do is to get at least one or two younger persons to understand, like I understood. Mr. McMahon, when I was growing up, it was the same thing, you know, the majority of the people, look at me, a little boy in the U.S. Virgin Islands, standing on the bus stop, watching my people, majority black people, going to and fro, getting ready to jump on the bus, those big Manasseh buses, to take me to school, and asking myself, how is it that me, as a black boy, this is me, you know, a little black boy in the U.S. Virgin Islands, standing waiting for a school bus, and asking myself, how is it that me as a little black boy and all of these people who look like me are not the wealthy ones in this country? because I know that when on the weekends I go to the park and the different places, I see the wealthy ones. I see the homes of the wealthy one. You understand? My mother was working in and I think it was Blue Castle Hotel or whatever. I was seeing only the negative side of majority of my people, and I asked myself, because I said back then I used to wish that I was white. But it's because back then, wishing that I was white, I asking myself, so why is it that my color is so, and that is what made me start to dig into my history. Why is it that my color is this way? And in digging to my history, I came out different to the majority who were just about, well, I have to go, I have to survive. So I am saying, I agree with you and I hear you, but all I want is enough young black people to understand that there can be a change, because if we do not find a way to make a change and not have the kind of leaders that we have who are quick to acquiesce, we're going to wind up back in some despicable form of servitude, evident in Marco Rubio's recent speech to Germany. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I hear you. You're right.
Yeah. So it boils down to, again, strategy. How do you prevent it? How do you change?
That is what I in my own little way.
I'll tell you again that leaders do not see it as you do. They well, for the most part, most of them are concerned with
but Mr. McMahon, you're repeating every. You notice the last part of my conversation. I agreed with you. I said I agree.
Yeah.
You're not saying anything. So why are you going back there when we've established that it is the fact? It is the fact.
You told me you want to see a change.
Yes.
And I'm telling you that again it goes back to strategy, and the only way you see that change is if leaders, because look throughout history, it's leaders that made the difference,
But isn't that what I just said to you? I'm not looking at I said to you, Mr. McMahon, let me reiterate. All I'm trying to do is make sure that some little black boy or little black girl who hears my little smattering here and there dig into themselves and question why and how they will move into the future and be better. You've heard me say over and over to the young people listening, let me finish. I've always said to young people, we need a different kind of leadership. We need a kind of leadership that understands the fight that we have to fight to survive as a people.
And I'm saying that what you're talking about there is a generational thing, a future generational thing, and you got to start at some point, right? You got to start even before that. Otherwise, the next generation is gonna go just.
But I'm starting now. I'm starting by doing my little bit, and I don't think it's supposed to be just me, and I don't think it's just me, because I listen to other things and I hear other people doing the same.
It starts with our, first of all, recognizing the situation we're in, and then making the correct choices now.
But Mr. McMahon, you, whenever I try to do my little scratch and make a little indent, you come with your perspective that gives this thing like, it is almost hopeless, because look at what everybody wants. Everybody wants to go to the American heaven. And I hear you on that, but I'm saying I still don't feel that there should not be the few of us who try. And I hear you on that, our present leaders are, but what do? Do I sit down and say, well, okay, our present leaders are virtually hopeless and not try to shape something for the future?
And that's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is, it sounds almost as if you're going to give the current leaders a pass and talk about future.
But you're talking nonsense, Mr. McMahon. How am I giving them a pass when I'm always trying to call them out? But if they're hopeless, they're hopeless. If you find someone is hopeless and they're bent on their ways, you try to look to someone else. You've been a teacher. You've tried to teach students who you see have potential, and for no matter what you do, so what do? You don't count them out, but you say, okay, in your mind you say, okay, I see 4 other students over there who are interested, and you don't give up on them. That is what I'm doing.
Well, I tend to think that the better approach, and I'm sure you've referred to my mantra. I'm sure I thought you referred to my mantra before, right? You do not give them a pass. If they do not meet expectations, you get rid of them. No.
But I agree. But tell me, sometimes you baffle me. Tell me, where have I not said what you just said?
Because you generally think to say, okay, the current ones are inadequate, and leave it there.
I do not. That is untrue. That is Have you not heard me say before, and even during this, I said it even this morning, I said, hopefully we're going to keep our fingers crossed. I'm not going to jump to conclusion. I'm going to see where it comes out and hope that but so far I've not heard anything to the affirmative, and I used 2 examples. I said, one, I've heard a brief statement from our Prime Minister, which is neither here or there, and I've heard comments people relate to me from this other Prime Minister who is only in the negative. So I'm not giving them a pass. I never have, and I never will. But within my mind, it seems to me, and I hope that I'm wrong, that they are hopeless.
And it seems to me that a lot of people feel so as well. Okay, but yet, somehow a lot of people seem willing to accept the status quo, right? And I'm saying that if you come to the conclusion that they're hopeless, then you know what to advocate for. Some kind of change.
I've never said they're hopeless. Remember, English is a funny language. I said, from my perspective, it seems to me that they are hopeless. But I never said they are hopeless. I'm always keeping my fingers crossed and hoping. But I'm not seeing anything that says otherwise. That is what I'm always saying. Did you hear the recent press conference from Mark Brantley where he was speaking about Nevis going to the moon?
Nevis, no. What did he say?
I would advise you to go and listen to that press conference. I can't say verbatim, but what he was saying, I was here listening, and I heard him say, I would give you some good news, some to that effect. Like I said, I'm not going to say verbatim. I can't say verbatim, but he was saying, the news is that Nevis is going to the moon, and then that pricked my ear. And he said, some people are going to be coming in, and they're going to be setting up something to do with rocket propulsion and going into space and so forth. So far sounding so good, had me there. But then there's a part where he says, and they're going to be shooting DNA into space. And then my heart dropped, because I'm thinking, coming to where? Nevis? Why?
Nevis?
Let me finish. I'm thinking, coming to these people so advanced into coming to Nevis to do rock. Whose DNA is going to be shot into the moon? You understand what I'm saying?
I didn't hear that on the news. Okay, as you said, I should
go back and listen to it. It is on YouTube most likely, or Facebook. Go back and listen to it in its entirety, and you will hear where he said they're going to be shooting DNA into the moon, into space. He did not say whose DNA, but I am saying, as a people coming from the trauma of the Middle Passage and 400 years of oppression, why would anyone come here to be shooting? Why not of all the other places around the planet Earth are they coming to the black proximity to be shooting DNA into the moon? Whose DNA will be shot into the moon?
Quinn, you're asking the wrong question.
Okay,
question you should ask
let
is
me ask
why would our leader be sanctioning something like that?
But you don't think I asked that, but I have to be diplomatic, Mr. McMahon. So that is why I shape it the way I shape it.
Oh, all right, Quinn.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I just think that, you know, we just operate.
And anyone who is hearing my voice, go and find that recent thing and listen to it, because I don't sit here. I don't sit here and tell lies, you know. I don't sit here and tell lies.
Absolutely will.
And I wish.
How you describe it, Quinn.
Yes.
It sounds very nefarious.
That's what I'm saying.
I listen to it.
But how is it that our leaders don't see these things?
Our news.
Because Mr. McMahon, you know the saying, it passes over your head. Whoosh.
Okay. Well, I didn't hear it.
And you know why? And you know why it passes over our head? Because it comes back to what Africa said. Everybody is bent on going to heaven.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of information out there. You got to pick and choose the information before it explodes in your head.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I did not hear Brantley's last press conference. So
yes.
What you've said, though, going to make me go and listen to it. And we'll probably talk about it some other time.
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, then.
Yeah. It amazes me, you know. Look, I'm just a simple individual. I go about my life. Most people see me, you know. I'm just an individual. I walk alone. I don't infringe on people. I don't trouble people. Fortunately, people don't trouble me either. But I'm aware of the world that I live in. I'm aware of the history, the traumatic history that my people have survived over the years to bring us to now. And because I am aware of that history, I do not take it lightly. I'm no prophet, I'm no Messiah. I can't change the world, but I can make a little indent if I can. And the indent I'm trying to make is that some young person out there, whether boy or girl, listens and gets enough of the information that I'm saying that makes them want to find out more about themselves, more of where they came from, more of how did they wind up here, who had to go through what for them to be here, and then ask themselves the question, if I am now aware of what the people had to go through for me to be here, should I be casual in my existence? Should I, when I go for a job and I don't get the job, throw up my hand and say, I give up on life because nobody cares about me? Or should I, being mindful of the struggles that my foreparents had to go through, which was a trillion times more powerful than ours, almost hopeless, and they didn't give up? So why now you and I in this time who have potential would give up? That is all I'm trying to do. Plant a little seed here and there and hope that it germinates into something that will save us as a people, or else you're going to see, in the future, you're going to see a Caribbean and even an Africa that looks like China, and that looks like India, and that looks like Japan, and that looks like the Hawaii. Those were not that is not the way those places look back in history. They were black places and brown, undeniably brown people, but you don't see them today. Hello, caller.
Yes, Quint, it's me again. Quickly, I would like to say, first of all, that your volume on YouTube seem to be very low, and people has been making comments about that on the YouTube comments, that the volume is a bit low. Well, very low. So maybe something. I hope you might be able to do something about it. I hope so. Lastly, a lot of people, when you hear about evangelical pastors and so on, the news does present them as though they're only for Trump. Okay? They don't present those who are against Trump and speaking out against him. And I would like to pull out one of them out the pack who are against Trump and just use very strong words against him. If people go on YouTube and search for Tuck Baldwin YouTube page, you will see where a strong evangelical man, where he uses strongest of words against Trump. And one of them he did about 2 weeks ago, called Evangelicals Divine Litmus Test. And in that, he presents some strong words against Trump and other videos on his page as well. So I just wanted to point out that it ain't like how the news have it that all evangelical pastors are for Trump, because some give blistering sermons against Trump and that sort of stuff. What he's doing in Gaza and his other evil and wickedness as well, including Chuck Baldwin. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And by the way, check out the volume if you could do anything about it.
I think I understand why the volume is low. I will debate that with one of my co-workers, because recently he did make some changes. And I remember telling him that we had already established a volume setting, but I don't go against my colleague. But now that people are complaining that it is low, it would mean that I was right in my suggestion, so we would have to go back and maintain the original.
Yeah, because people on YouTube are making comments to that effect, even on the today's show's comments.
Okay, thanks for that. And thanks, and always, whenever you hear, you see these things, enlighten me, because I wouldn't know unless someone tells me.
Okay, yes, Quint, yes, okay, yeah, man, peace.
Okay, so that's how we're going to end things for today. As always, it has been a good session, and do continue to enjoy not only a great day, but do have a great life.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.